today we're going to be working on the B4 quadrant, and these two will be our blues and these two will be our neutrals. The way that EQ and, well, first of all, the way that I drew this in EQ, there's not a line across here. I was gonna originally use Tri-Rex ruler, and I'm thinking that it's probably better to just use the template, so I'm gonna proceed with this one. I'm gonna call this block an Argyle. I don't know what else to call it, but we're gonna be using our neutrals on this block, so let's get started. Okay, these are the fabrics I've selected. I've selected two very light neutrals. If I look at this block, I'm going to probably, I don't know, you could go either way where you make D and G pieces your darker pieces, or you could make your E pieces all darker pieces. I think I'm going to put my darker pieces in D, G, and D, and use my lighter white for my E pieces, but you could make this however you like. You could also make this where you make all of these fabrics different colors. It's up to you. I'm gonna stick to making each quadrant of my block separate fabrics, meaning that those fabrics stay within that block and that it's kind of coordinated. What is the word I'm looking for? That this fabric stays true and that I don't deviate and make it too busy. I don't want this one to be too busy. Some quilts I do, but not this one. So I also recommend, since we're going to be cutting biased edges, no matter how we put this on there, one side of these is going to be biased, so I'm going to recommend that you pre-starch these fabrics. Don't go spend a lot of money on starch. I know people like using Best Press, and if you have it, that's great. I always thought that the big rock stars in the industry used Best Press, and it's a good product. I recently saw a video with Kimberly from Fat Quarter Shop, and she just uses regular faultless spray starch, the heavy stuff that you get at the grocery store that's a couple dollars a can. So, but I do recommend pre-starching for this one. Alright, so for your triangle piece E, you are going to want to cut a strip that is 3.5 inches. For your piece G, you're going to cut a strip that's 3.25 inches, and it's just a hair too big, but that's okay. We can trim that down. And I'm hoping, yeah, same for piece D. You can use the same strip for G and D. And I'm going to lay my template on the fabric, and I will make my cuts by using the ruler over my template. I want to keep as much fabric as I can because that stuff's expensive. Alright, you get the idea. My videos have just become so long. I'm going to keep this to a minimum, but you get the idea of how to cut this out. Okay, for piece E, you're going to cut 4 triangles, and if you'll notice, the way the letter E is on this template means that this always needs to be pointing up or down on your strip of fabric. This is the piece I just cut. If I were to turn this, it's not the same shape. So we will have to pay attention to this whenever we're sewing. So 4 of these, 4 E's, 1 G, and 2 D's. I want to make sure that the edges that I've trimmed are all flush and that all my raw edges on each end, as well as the side we're going to be sewing, are all flush. Okay, I have sewn the triangles opposite one another, and I've gone ahead and pressed outward, and I'm not sure if I'm going to do that again, but I'll let you know. Aha! So sew your diamond into a straight row with your triangles, and instead of sewing a Y seam, we are going to go ahead and sew this triangle to this half diamond, which will create a straight line. So we will not be doing Y seams. Yes! Okay, so I have just sewn my piece D to E, and I'm going to go ahead, since we pressed this one this way, I'm going to press this one towards my triangle as well, and that should allow the seams to nest. And this is going to be tricky, but basically this will overlap one another 1/4 of an inch, and it will nest. Yes, I'll sew that next. Okay, so lining this up to get it right, there's 3 points on piece G. D. That middle point is the point you want lined up for your raw edges on each end. And that should get us a perfect point. All right, let's see how I did. I'm gonna just press this out. All right, not perfect, but perfect enough for me. And I will do the same on this side. Okay, our next block we're gonna do, gosh, the light. There. The next block we're gonna do is gonna be this one, which is just a 9 patch. Let me go select my fabrics. Okay, for the 9 patch in this week, I'm gonna recommend using 3 fabrics. You could get away with using 2, but I think 3 would be good. I think I'm gonna put a little hint of blue into this block, and I haven't decided if I'm gonna put half of C in there on the outer side or the inside. Maybe bow ties will be cute. Maybe I'll do the inside. So there's going to be 2 methods for this. Since we're making half square triangles, we're going to use the easy angle method, method 1, and the draw a line method, which will be method 2, and I will show both. All right, I have my strip set cut out for using the easy angle. And remember, you're going to put right sides together and make your cuts. I'm going to hang the black corner of my ruler off and line it up on the 2.5 inch line. I'm going to leave my pairs as matched and then move them to the sewing machine to sew. I will go ahead and press to the darker side. And square up my blocks. Okay, the next block we're gonna work is gonna be this block here, which is a QST block. I'm probably only gonna give one way to do this block, and that will be drawing a line from corner to corner. So each one of these A's, you'll have a pair of fabric opposite one another that will be the same fabrics. You could make each one of these different, or you can make them all match. I'm gonna select my 2 fabrics and make from that. All right, so this method's pretty forgiving. I'm not going to draw a line, I'm just going to cut. And now I'll sew these. Okay, I'm going to press these, open them up. I've sewn them and press to the dark side. And I'm going to place the opposites together and nest my seams. And then cut corner to corner again. All right, these are ready to be sewn through the machine. This will give us a QST, two QSTs. Leave your pairs matched and mated. All right, I'm going to finger press my seams and spin my seam and finger press. And then I will trim this down to 3.5 inches. it's currently 4 inches, so you're going to lose quite a bit. So half of 3.5 is 1 3/4. So you're going to take and you're going to measure, take your 1 3/4 mark, measure your, align your 45-degree angle and find your 1 3/4 inch square mark. You're going to put that in the center, and then you're going to trim this block. And there we have our HST, and you will do this 4 times. So you will start out with 2 5-inch squares of dark and 2 5-inch squares of light, and you will repeat this process 1 more time to get your block. All right, we have our 4 patch. I have it laid out according to the design that I made. This block will be facing up, and then the next block will turn, and you'll repeat that opposite here. Does it matter how you lay them out? If you want to lay it out like this, it doesn't matter. It's your quilt, and you can play with the color options however you like. Just sew this as a 4 patch. Finger press your seams, spin your seam if you wish, and trim it to 6.5 inches. All right, 1 more to go. So here's another friendship star right here. If you want, you can opt to make your F blocks just 1 color. I'm going to go ahead, because I've created so many scraps, I'm going to utilize those little bitty pieces there and just make them all different, and then stay with a theme on pieces C. I'm going to have probably 2 dark blues, or maybe a dark and a medium dark for my piece C's. So I'm going to go figure out my fabrics. Alright, I'm going to make 4 patches out of my scraps. If I don't like it, I can always go back and make it all flow with 2 different fabrics for my 4 patches. Alright, I have my 4 patches sewn, and I misspoke earlier. You will need 5 of these. The other ones I'm still on my machine bed. I'm going to set these aside and then process the next 2 colors that I'll be putting into the friendship star. Okay, here are my fabric selections. I've got 2 darker blues. I'm going to go ahead and use method 1, which is going to be using the easy angle ruler. And I don't know if I need to keep going over this, but 2.5 inch strips, and then you hang your black tip off your fabric, and then line up your 2.5 inch line on the fabric and make your cuts. I'm only going to do a couple because I'm going to also demonstrate how to use the draw line method. Okay, the draw line method. I've drawn my line from corner to corner on my lighter fabric, and I'm going to sew 1/4 of an inch on each side of that line. I will then cut down the middle on the line with scissors or rotary cutter. I will press to the dark side and trim to 2.5 inches. So I just figured out that it's probably best to press towards the 4 patch on this block. You can do it however you want. So on the first row, it's going to press out, second in, third out. Yeah, I'm not fond of this block. It's very busy. It might be better for you to make these consecutive colors and perhaps line up your lighter color coming through here and your darker color coming through here, or however you want to do it. This is probably my least favorite block I've made so far. We are in the home stretch. Now you will assemble your blocks together and make sure you keep your blues in line and your neutrals in a line, and press however you wish. I'm thrilled with 3 of these blocks. This one, it may deserve a redo. So I'm not going to sew these together just yet. I think I may remake this, and if I do, you'll see it at the end of this video.